We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with some big news regarding Jeff Hardy, who, as many of you are likely aware, has been in the wrestling news headlines over the last couple of days for a truly unfortunate but not all too surprising reason. It was sadly revealed the other day that Jeff Hardy was once again pulled over and inevitably arrested for a DUI, among other things. And this news really upset a lot of wrestling fans, because this is far from being the first time that Jeff Hardy has been involved in something like this. And a lot of fans feel like it is a bad sign for things to come in the future when it comes to Jeff Hardy. Now, earlier today, AEW President Tony Khan officially commented on this big unfortunate news about Jeff Hardy, and here's the message that Tony put out on social media, effectively breaking his silence on Jeff Hardy's latest run-in with the law. Quote, "We were able to resume contact with Jeff Hardy this afternoon. AEW does not condone Jeff's alleged behavior. We've made it clear to Jeff that we'll assist him in getting treatment for substance abuse issues, which he has indicated that he is open to receiving. In the interim, he is suspended without pay, and he can only return to AEW upon successfully completing treatment and maintaining his sobriety." Now, hopefully Jeff Hardy can really get the help he needs and overcome this once and for all, because a lot of fans are worried that this is a very slippery slope that Jeff's on right now, and that if he does not get the help he needs, this could truly be a huge problem that does not end in a positive way. Let's all hope that this time is different and Jeff Hardy goes on the right path after receiving some help, because Jeff Hardy is a true legend of the business, and no one wants to see Jeff go down a dark path. But clearly AEW are very much in support of Jeff Hardy getting help, and let's hope it works this time around and he can eventually make a comeback to AEW. Hopefully with a safer style in the ring as well, because that has been another big talking point recently regarding Jeff Hardy, that basically his insane daredevil moves need to stop at this stage of his career and his age, and that Jeff needs to adopt a more safe-seeming style in the ring if he's going to be wrestling for much longer and maintaining his well-being moving forward. Now, after weeks of speculation, last night during Monday Night Raw, Ezekiel, otherwise known as Elias' younger brother, announced that next week on Raw, his older brother Elias will finally be making his long-awaited return to WWE. And as no surprise, Ezekiel's announcement got the entire wrestling community buzzing, and for good reason, as WWE are finally having Elias return to potentially prove that Ezekiel is in fact his younger brother, and that they're not the same person. WWE revealed that Elias will be performing a live concert for a special return to the company next week on Monday Night Raw. And a lot of fans are now speculating if WWE are going to somehow try to have Elias and his supposed younger brother Ezekiel show up on Raw at the very same time, to prove once and for all to Kevin Owens and the WWE Universe as well that they're not the same person. In all honesty, it is likely that WWE will have Elias and Ezekiel show up at different times on Raw next week, because the reality is that Ezekiel and Elias are the same person, so it really does seem impossible for WWE to have the two appear on Raw at the very same time. But perhaps one way is having Elias live on Raw for his concert, and then having Ezekiel show up on the big screen to interact with Elias, even though that would be a pre-recorded segment with Ezekiel backstage. However, some fans are speculating on social media that WWE are going to go all out with this whole Ezekiel and Elias storyline, and try to have a different superstar dress up as Elias, with Ezekiel being in the ring at the very same time with Elias, and that the Elias character could be portrayed by former WWE superstar Damien Sandow, who fans have said in the past has a striking resemblance to Elias. But that does seem pretty far-fetched, but who knows, WWE are trying to make their shows more exciting, and the excitement level is pretty high when it comes to Elias' return to Raw next week, so WWE may try to capitalize off of this and really try to blow fans' minds. Regardless, WWE have got fans excited for next week's Raw, and let's hope they do something very special and shocking with Elias and Ezekiel, because the storyline has been so great up to this point, and could be really taken to that next level with the right storyline swerve for sure. Now, WWE may seriously be in some major trouble this summer with the news that has just been revealed about the Undisputed WWE Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, and more specifically about Roman's reported schedule with WWE moving forward, which is not looking good whatsoever. For those of you unaware, it has been revealed by one of our sources that Roman Reigns, who has already been absent from WWE television for weeks on end, is only scheduled to be appearing on one single episode of Monday Night Raw Raw this entire summer, despite holding both the company's world championships, including the WWE title which was on Raw, with the supposed Raw episode being the July 25th edition of the show, which is the go-home edition of Raw before SummerSlam 2022, but other than that, Roman Reigns is not expected to be at any other Raw shows this summer, and also very few SmackDown episodes as well, besides this week where he will be defending his undisputed WWE Universal Championship against Riddle. Now this news is certainly not sitting well with most wrestling fans, because when Roman Reigns unified the WWE and Universal titles at WrestleMania, most were expecting Roman to be active on both Raw and SmackDown, and to be on the shows regularly, but that has unfortunately been the furthest thing from the case, and whether or not WWE was aware of Roman Reigns becoming a part-timer this year, this is going to hurt WWE to a great extent this summer, because as of right now, all signs point to WWE keeping that undisputed WWE Universal title on Roman Reigns for the remainder of 2022, and likely well into next year as well. And this is going to be disastrous ratings-wise for WWE moving forward, with their biggest star being absent from their shows, along with their World Championships. Ratings have already taken a big hit lately without Roman Reigns actively on the show, and overall fan interest has declined as well. And things are only worse now that Cody Rhodes, the WWE's second option for the top star while Roman's away, is also now gone from WWE because of his unfortunate injury. A lot of fans feel WWE have made a huge mistake putting so much stock in Roman Reigns, who's now on a decline when it comes to his WWE schedule, and that Raw and SmackDown are in dire need of a world championship on the show, but the latest news has basically indicated that Reigns is not going to be appearing much for the foreseeable future, and likely won't be losing his titles either, which further compounds the problem. And now that Cody Rhodes is also out of action at the worst possible time, WWE is in a really bad situation right now, and something big needs to change very soon. Otherwise, the fan interest and ratings will continue to worsen for WWE, which is just bad news overall for the company. And perhaps having Riddle win the undisputed WWE Universal Championship from Roman Reigns on SmackDown is the right booking decision to get things back on track, but that does seem extremely unlikely. On Monday Night Raw last night, we briefly got to see an interesting tag team duo of Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss, who ended up defeating Nikki ASH and Doudrop to qualify for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and by all means, a lot of fans on social media are a huge fan of this Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss tag team, and that it has to be a long-term storyline that WWE move ahead with, and let us know if you guys like the sounds of an Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan tag team in the near future, or should the two remain single stars? Let us know.